and what's on your mind today. My name is Daryl Ledyard on your right. We have Simon Hogman on my left. And Steven is taking the day off. He's going to maybe take this week and next week off. We'll see how he's doing. Everything seems to be fine. He just has a lot of work to do, and he's just taking some time to be with his family also and get some things taken care of. So,
fair enough. Yep.
I've been the one that's taken a lot of time off. You're the one with the perfect attendance, so congratulations.
100% so far. Although I'm in a mystery location today, obviously, with my I'm not in the studio today, but I can't reveal my location. Could be my luxury yacht, might be the log cabin, who knows, the beach house. Yeah, I'm just remote at the moment. So yeah, I'm all good.
Very, very good. Well, we thank you for taking the time out of your Sunday to kind of hang out with us. Simon does some photography sometimes during the day, and sometimes very, very busy schedule. And
pretty busy on things. I mean, I obviously my background is a professional photographer, but I think probably most of my work these days is SEO, local SEO, which is obviously where I've learned about some of the stuff that I do. So I'm certainly doing a lot of mass page building at the moment. I built 100,000 pages yesterday, so I'm pretty busy on different projects and doing different things. And I launched my mass page booster service a week or two ago, which has been a great success, and a number of people have signed up already. So thanks for everyone's support and interest in that. So yeah, it's a busy time, but it's all good, really.
Awesome. I would like to circle back and talk a little bit about your mass page booster, not in so much detail, but just in a little bit of detail a little bit later on. About how we can think of things like WordPress as a service, or mass page as a service, or just lead generation as a service. So I want to circle back and kind of talk a little bit about that later on today.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I know a number of people viewing obviously mass page builders as well, so it'd be good to see if anybody's got any questions, their own perspectives on that. So yeah, that's all good.
Awesome. And just like always, we will be giving away a domain name. The domain name will be coming up later on today, about 58 minutes from now. We try to do it at the top of the hour, so it gives you a chance to do that. And we'll take your calls and have you come online with us. And we could get you on here as well to chit chat a little bit. So welcome aboard. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday Live. We've been getting some pretty good viewership on the YouTube channel on Mass Page Tools. We're up to about 902 subscribers on there. And I think we're doing a lot of good things. So I think it's resonating with people. And I'm looking forward to the channel growing. So thank you guys for that.
Sounds good. And we've obviously got some people saying cheers and hello and hey guys, and the best 2 minutes on any given Sunday. I'm pretty sure I know who that is. So good to see you there, Don. And Jorge's with us. I spoke to Jorge very recently, had a chat. So good to catch up with you guys too. So yeah, all good.
Yeah, if you guys are coming up as Facebook user, you got to make sure you give permission to be live inside your app, I believe, so that it's b.live inside of Facebook, so it picks up your information. You got to give permission under the what's it called? So
it's in the Facebook post, isn't it? I think
Facebook. It's your Facebook app. It's under apps, and you have to pick in b.live and just add that so that we can see your face on here.
Yeah, it's fair to say we're using a different platform this week. So some people that might have been authorized before on StreamYard, which we've used, we're now using BeLive today. We're sort of trialing something new. It's either going to be a fantastic success or we'll have some technical issues halfway through the show. So we'll see where things go.
My browser may crash, and it might be just you for a little bit, Simon.
Yeah, well, it's normally just me anyway. Let's be honest. So that's
yeah, probably.
No. Let's hope we make it to the end of the show with it all intact. The browser's good. So yeah.
There's one guy doing their homework here, and the rest of us just copy.
Oh yeah.
All right.
That's all good.
So do you have anything that you want to talk about today? And
Yeah, just a few thoughts. I thought we'd talk about GMBs and specifically talk about suggest edits, which is obviously something that anybody with a Gmail account can access for good or nefarious purposes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what that means from an SEO perspective. So that's my thing to talk about today.
okay, and I'm gonna shed some light on the coupon code that went haywire on me midweek. I'm gonna explain the story for bulkleads.net, the promo code, what happened to it, and what we've done in the meantime to restore a special price for you. The folks that got in early, those people grandfathered in and they have the deal. But we'll explain it all coming up. Plus, we'll talk a little bit more about how to find a domain, um, you know, and know that it's worth something or not worth something. So it's a bit of a subjective thing, but it's something that if you are in pursuit of a good brand name or you're looking for a good domain name, I want to mention some things to you that might be able to help you out a little bit. Oops, hold on a second. There we go. All right. So if you've got your presentation ready, I think we can pull up your presentation and bring it up here. And I'll mute myself and you can do your talking.
Yeah, well, don't mute yourself completely. It'd be good to get your thoughts really. So look, I'm just going to talk a little bit about suggest edits. Now, Google My Business, as we know, it's a key part of SEO, I guess for good or for bad. But changes can always be a little bit risky, let's say. So sometimes you can make a change and it could trigger a verification. You might also have a situation where you see other people's listings, so you might want to change something. So it'd be good to see if anybody's in this situation. I don't know if anyone's changed anything on GMB recently, if you've had any re-verifications, but this is something that might help you. So if you want to put in the chat if you've had any suspensions or any triggers, that would be good. So anyway, if you want to do any of those things, change your listing, you can obviously go into the back end of the listing and change your own listing, but that can sometimes be awkward on name, address, website, phone number. That can trigger a re-verification. Or obviously, if you wanted you looked at a competitor listing, you might want to make an update. Now, Google actually allows you to do that. It's called Suggest Edits. Most people have probably seen this, and you can have an option to change the name or other details, or close or remove a listing, which is pretty interesting. So things you might want to change: you might want to update a name, address, categories, phone number, website. You might want to report business being open, closed, whether it's open to the public or not. You might want to permanently close your own business, for example. And if you want to do any suggest edits on a Google My Business, you do need to have a Gmail account. Now, you can't suggest edit your own business if you wanted to make a change. And the approach is, if you wanted to try to change a name, for example, it might be well worth trying another Gmail account, doing a suggest edit, and see if that'll be accepted that way, which I believe is less risky than you trying to change the name in the panel. So just see how you go if you want to try and change details on your listing. What I would do is log out of your Gmail, go on a different computer, or certainly do a different session to make sure Google doesn't see it all as the same person. But that might be something you can do, just to use your Gmail to change your own listing. Another thing about using suggest edits is edits are not guaranteed. I think there's a better chance of you being accepted if you're a local guide, if your profile's trusted, if you're a high level guide. So I'm a level 6.5 at the moment, and I can make some changes, and maybe the first 4 or 5 in a day can go through often pretty much straight away. If you try to do a lot. Say again.
Oh yeah, how do you know you're level 6? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you just type in local guides, sign up or whatever, and then you get a login, and then it'll tell you what your profile is, and it'll also show you what you've reviewed and edited. You can get a kind of a breakdown of it. Yeah, just local guides. Yeah, local guide sign up, I think, and I think it'll log in. It'll show you your details. Yeah. So I'm
Cool.
I'm 6.5. Yeah, I just see somebody saying that they've got just got off a suspended account. So yeah, that's I think there's a lot of that happening. I think Google is definitely suspending more people. That's my impression. I had one of my listings suspended, which has now been fixed. You can go through a process, but certainly if you're on a virtual address or spammy business name, all that kind of stuff, Google could trigger it and either suspend or want to send you a postcard or whatever else again. So edits are not guaranteed. They can be instant. They can take weeks. So you can suggest edit your own, or you could suggest edit another business if you're a helpful person, or if you're not a helpful person, you could try to do that. So look, this is where we get into the kind of moral dilemma. I quite like this picture here. So this is where I suggest an edit could be used for good, could be used for bad, and I'll talk about some of the ideas on this now as well. So if you're a good guy, and here's a local guide. Here's a guy in his local guide t-shirt, and he's probably out there helping people, which I would recommend you do. So he would then see something that's wrong on a Google listing, make an update, it would be accepted, and that's fine. And there's a point system on Google local guides, and you can go up, and I think if you get to local visit level 5, you get a pair of socks. I got some free postcards level 3. I don't. There's other bonuses. It's not it's not paid. It's not get rich scheme. You get a few bonuses, and people like to say there
are they Google socks?
Well, I never got the socks. I know a number of people that did. I got some postcards, but I missed out on the socks for some reason. I don't know what happened there, but you got some socks on. I don't know what who knows?
I'd rather some Google stocks, not socks.
No, it was definitely socks. It wasn't any stock, I'm afraid. So look, so if you're one of the good guys, you'd be a local guide. Maybe they'll give you a t-shirt, and you can help there. There's another side of suggest edits where people do them for malicious reasons. I don't recommend this. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying it's something that you need to be aware of. So I know Craig Campbell, SEO, who many of you will be aware of. People have attacked his Google My Business listing a number of times and marked it as permanently closed. And unfortunately, Google often just takes it at face value and suspends or closes listings, and it's a problem. People can also make malicious edits where they'll change your phone number, or also change your website address to maybe send it to a lead gen site or affiliate site or something else. So there's other things that can be done. Google obviously does manual review things, but some things can just go straight through. And you'll often see in your Google My Business listing, a number of edits have been suggested, accept all. Often Google just has made the changes anyway, and you're just acknowledging that they're there. So it's worth keeping an eye on your listing to make sure it's not been hijacked. And if you go onto any forums, you'll certainly see lots of examples where people have used suggest edits for bad purposes. Right, so let's use some examples. So here's a Leeds plumber I've looked up. So if I was being a good local guide, I might see this guy's spam business name or what looks like spam, and then might want to do a suggest edit. So I press the suggest edit button. So I press change name or whatever, change details, and I've highlighted the areas that could be argued were not in line with Google's terms and conditions. So if you're adding location modifiers, you're adding keyword modifiers, and it's not your business name, then they're going to it's technically outside of Google's guidelines. They could suspend or ask you to change the listing or whatever. Now, when I look at this guy's website, or guy or girl or whatever, I can see that actually they are called heattech/emergency plumber/Pear Hills, and their domain name is actually that exact string without the slashes. So they've obviously been a bit clever about it. I'm pretty certain this is a lead gen site. So I think if you were to report this one or try to change it, Google will probably just change it back on the basis that this is actually, in quotes, legit or in line. They might not like the fact that it's a lead gen site, which is technically against terms of service, but they're probably going to keep it. So here's a second one, a photographer. I obviously see a lot of photographer listings coming up. So this is a Leeds photographer who has, pretty much spammed the name. So they've got so-and-so wedding photographer, Leeds, Harrogate, York, and North Yorkshire. So if I was to look into this a little bit further, here's the item that I would consider editing. And this would be, I would say, legitimate in the way that it's not in line with Google's terms and conditions. I think you could also take a view on the residential address, which when you look at the person's website, they actually categorize themselves as a studio, but there's no details of the studio on the website. That's not the business name, including all those keyword modifiers, and it looks like it's effectively a residential address, which they shouldn't be using if they don't have it open to the public with a sign on the front door and a reception area, etc. And and they've obviously changed the name. So you could go into that and change the name. I think that would be legitimate. I don't think that's malicious if it's not in line with the terms of service. You could clean up your local competitors. And if you chose to, I would, if it was a residential address, you're confident of that, you could mark it as not open to the public, and that would effectively take the address listing off and make it, convert it into a service area business. Obviously, as we know, being a Google My Business visible address, that does give you some ranking benefits, so you might want to take a view on that. I would be careful about this. I wouldn't use it for malicious reasons. You might get caught out, and the person might be able to identify your listing. So changing the name and that sort of thing is not visible at the moment, but certainly if you were to mark it as permanently closed and add a photo, it says here that your details will appear publicly, for example. I would play a straight bat on this, but people do close businesses, and I would only use it if you were actually genuinely closing one. But I do think suggest editing somebody's business name is perfectly legitimate if it's not in line with terms and conditions. They are getting an unfair advantage on it, and why should that be the case? So I guess it's up to you really how you want to use suggest edit. There's a few different ideas there to make a first chance sort of pass on your own name. If you wanted to change your name, use a different Gmail account and see if you can change the name without triggering a re-verification or an issue, particularly if you've got a virtual address, or if you wanted to clean up the local area of people that were using the spam business names or residential virtual addresses. It's not always going to get accepted, and I'd be careful about submitting a lot of them in a short period of time, and also submitting ones where you get rejected, because I think sooner or later Google may take a view on your profile too. But I think used in moderation, it's a completely legitimate thing to do, and you'll even get some extra local Google points, and you might even get a pair of socks, but not some stock. So that's my thoughts on suggest edits. If you want to get in touch, my Facebook group is go.simonogben.com/group. That's called Local SEO Heroes. I have the slides for this, all my slide decks from the show going back, I think, 6 months now. If you really want to dig back and read up on that, go.simonogben.com/slides. And if you want to get in touch with me, it's simons.chat for instant messaging. So that's my thing this week on.
Can you put that last slide back up, just because I realized that text was too small for people to read.
How am I going to do that now? Just
you
come back on, put it back on the stream, and then we'll do that. Yeah, that's no problem. But somebody's saying, I've seen some comments there, and we're probably responsible for a lot of the malicious edits. All is fair in love and war there. So I think I might know who that is, actually. We'll see. I think malicious stuff. You always risk sort of doing 1,000 edits, and then one day Google deciding they're going to post the edits or whatever. Or I don't know. I think it's up to you to decide what you want to do. But I think people getting an unfair advantage. I think it's fair enough to tidy up the listings. You might be helping them because they're going to get suspended maybe sooner or later. So maybe you're helping them on the way, being a good local guide. Who knows?
Sorry about all the screen changes. I'm still getting used to this and how everything moves around. But the video quality is what I was hoping for. This has 1080p, so maybe you can see where I missed a spot on my shaving. But anyway, yes, let's talk a little bit about the GMB editing. One of the things I do like about that, not the closing your competitor's business on there, but I like the idea of being able to have somebody edit the hours of operation and things like that, because a lot of times people are busy. Business owners are busy, and they don't want to change and update their stuff all the time. But then somebody that's a guide, a local guide, can go ahead and can bring that up. So it's I think that it's a good tool for those things. I wonder if eventually this kind of user input is going to be, I wonder if this is going to be something that eventually Google says, it's been abused so much, let's just shut this whole editing down.
Yeah, I think Google's getting free resource, isn't it? Because if there are people around here cleaning things up, then it rather than sending their own staff in to do the manual updates. They're getting people just tidying it up. I mean, I guess it's up to them
Right.
if they want to accept the manual edits or not. Now they might shut it down. They might just let it run for a while, hopefully get things back in order, and then take it from there. But I mean, obviously there's a lot of abuse out there. The locksmith listings and all that kind of stuff has been very heavily abused and edited, and people shutting people down, whatever. So they might want to tighten it up. It's interesting if they do look at the profile of the guide or the trusting of the Gmail account. I would have thought a bit like reviews. If you're doing a lot of stuff that's just negative and spam, they're probably going to catch up with you, and I would have thought it would block you off anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Definitely. Definitely, it's one of those things where it's what do you call it? Not groupware, crowdsourcing.
Yeah, crowdsourcing.
And
Yeah, wisdom of the crowds. That's the idea, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at comments and getting distracted there. All right. Sounds good. So is there anything else you want to add to that? I really think that was a great presentation.
Nothing else. Yeah, I mean, that's just a little bit on suggest edits. So nothing else to add to that. Somebody's saying there that Google knows who is dropping a dime, and if you abuse it, it will bite you. I think there's always a risk of that. I think if you get involved in malicious edits, I think there's always a risk that it comes back to you. But I don't recommend it. So do your own research, I guess.
Yeah, it's a bit like the honor system right now, and as somebody said that they've done a few nefarious things that might come back to bite them on their own stuff, So you got to be careful.
You don't know.
So
yeah.
All right. Well, good job. Well, thank you for that. I do appreciate that. So what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about last week, where we had some discussions about. Sorry, you got to get the right thing. Getting used to this thing here. All right.
Yeah.
So if we go to bulkleads.net, I showed how you could use it for domain kicks, but there's a lot of other uses for it. There's a lot of tools inside of bulkleads.net, from B2B leads, B2C leads. These are just data sets that you can get for all over the world. There's a chat bot that you can put on your website. There's a way to check emails to see if they're valid, and it really does work quite well. So there's definitely a lot of features in this site. What I found out is that the coupon code that I made was higher than they allow in the terms of service. So what we did is we got them to accept the fact that the ones that are there. So we had about a dozen people that signed up and got the 80% off the unlimited plan. But I worked with the company to get another way to do this. So what we did is we added an unlimited plan pro, a limited pro plan. I don't know if you can see my screen or not, but it's one user.
Yeah, we see it there, Daryl. You can see that screen. Yeah.
So instead of unlimited users, which was the $99, it's one user. And the reason why I reduced the price is because the highest we're allowed to do with the coupon recurring is 30% off. Okay. So what that works out to is about, I think, $34 a month, or $33 a month or something like that, for all of this stuff that comes out with this. Okay. So you can read through all of the different things on bulkdomains.net, but that was the plan that I worked out with the company, is that we would do a $49 plan with a 30% off. That gives our people the data that they need to mess around and do the domain kicks hack that we talked about last week. So if you missed that, please check out last week's live, where we talked about how with domain kicks, if you can, I don't know if you can still see my screen, but domain kicks, you can
we still see the
in,
screen. Yeah, it's all fine, Daryl. Yeah, no worries.
So you can throw in a keyword list, and it gets rid of the spaces and the capitalization. If there's extra symbols and things, it clears that all out. So that way you can, do that. But you can also take, other business names and put that in there. I said it was a little bit of a gray hack tactic, but it's something you can do. But you can also use, what are you going to say? business names. You can use keywords.
Like
You can
brand names, yeah.
brand names, yeah, and you can also put things together like like at the end of this, you could put in like if I, you could put Max, you could put Pro, you could put directory, you know,
Hmm.
and all of these things, and this mash up different words, but I think ly is one that I use sometimes.
Yeah.
And so then you can just put like lead, you could put learn, you can put in web, you put in, whatever you're thinking of, right? And then you go up to here and you can kind of create all of these possibilities. So it'll immediately start looking for all of these different possibilities and bring it out here. So just if you haven't looked at it, there was more of a full demo of what we did last week. I'm taking and getting an edit from that so that the edit can be seen on YouTube without having to watch the entire thing. So see, none of that came through. Now, I had somebody asking me how to know if a domain is good. They were asking me, is this domain good? Is that domain good? Or is that domain good? Okay. So when it comes to brandable domains that you would use for end user or for a business or a company, you want to go with something short. Okay, so if you notice, like this one is 4 letters long. Okay, GPNZ. I don't know what that would be used for, but the shorter it is, typically the more it's worth. Okay, so if it's a .com and it is short, it's going to add to it. The next thing is, how unique is it? Okay, is it like another brand, or is it totally different? Does it stand out on its own? Okay, so that it doesn't get confused. So it's very important that if you come up with a short brand name, that it's going to stand out. So that's something to consider, that it's going to stand out. Okay. So look at this one here. It's band.vc. So what do you think of that name, Simon?
Well, I like the fact it says band. I mean, obviously that's very short and distinctive. VC, I'm not so sure about, to be fair. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'd fit in with what you were doing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, .com and others are more appealing. VC is pretty unusual, but band is very short, so it might work for you.
Right. So VC is a little bit out there for people that are used to .coms, right? And it's an international domain. But what would work well here was, what if it was band.ly?
Yeah.
Or band AI.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If it was band.ai and it was for software.
Bandai's a big name, isn't it? A big brand from back in the day. Bandai, isn't it?
Yeah. So, or let's say there was an extension AID. So it was band.aid, right?
Yes.
That would really stand out as a very valuable domain. So obviously, like, what is on the other end of the extension is very, very important, right? And also how short it is and how recognizable. And then the other concept that I always think about is, does it pass the radio test? Can you announce it to somebody on a phone conversation and have them be able to know how to spell it? And that's always a tough thing. You might not be advertising on the radio, but if every time you have to spell it out and you get typos and misspellings, it's always going to be an issue for you, right? It's always going to give you a hard time. So you want to make sure that you consider that. Okay. So now this is interesting right here. Artist.ly. Artistly. Now that could be an interesting brand, right? Because let's say it was for NFT artists, right?
Yeah.
And to get them on here, that could be very valuable, right? That's a good thing. So what I want to show you is a Fiverr gig. This is a guy I know that started a Fiverr gig, that he'll find cheap, niche specific, brandable, recently dropped, expired domains. And he also does some searching through Domain Kicks as well. And he has a membership with Domain Kicks, and he actually brings together lists and he delivers them to you each day. So for $5, he'll give you 7 days worth of it. For $15, he'll do 30 days. And I think for $120, he'll do the whole year and give you an email or an order or something each day. All right. So I have a link that I'll show you in a minute on how to get to that. Let me see if I can get back to the screen here. So let's see if I have that on here. I have a link. I have to just find 1 second. I made a shortener for it. Okay, so it's go.ht/domain list. Go.ht/domain list. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you again what kinds of things that have come through on that. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, see the screen. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this, and this is from one of his lists that came in the other day. So I want to talk a little bit about this because I know he watches the show too, and I want to talk a little bit about which domains I think are valuable and which ones are not. And I'm really open to your idea too, Simon, of what you think. But the majorities that are like longer than from here to here, I don't know how many characters it is, but I say like 12 to 14 characters is a maximum I want to go on a domain. Even if it's a really great domain, these really long ones immediately makes me think these are not good. Okay.
It makes them look more spammy, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
Right.
It's less of a brand. It's like a exact match kind of style. So I think that's still going to be likely to be less trusted. So you'll probably get less click through as a result. So yeah, I'd be cautious of things that were that big. Although it does do what it says on the ton. So those long ones, you don't need to create a brand because it actually just says what it is. But I think they're less appealing, less valuable. Yeah.
I typically think that a 2-word is okay. Like this one, for example, I could see type head, but I don't like the .net. And I'll tell you why. .nets I like for, let's say it is like, journalism type of stuff or, a blog or a community or something like that. Whereas I would like this to be .com, maybe .io if it was like an app called Typehead, right? But that's just what I was thinking when I saw that. But as I scroll down through here, none of these are catching my eye right off the bat. A lot of them because they're too long. And I'm looking for things like, okay, eurothenews.com. What do you think of that one? You live in Europe-ish.
Yes, yeah. We're still part of Europe geographically.
What do you think of that domain?
I mean, it should have, but yeah. I mean, I don't know, having the Euro the News. I don't know if it's going to be that memorable. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
It seems like, it just seems like trying too hard to be.
You're just fitting it in there. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the number one thing I always think about is, does the domain lend trust, right? Like this one, for example, I think could be good. Latestphones.net. Okay. This is from that
like
guy
a blog.
on Fiverr.
You mean like a blog kind of thing? Yeah. Like a review thing or something.
Yeah, comparison guide. These are the latest phones. And then they could have their affiliate link and all of the different blog posts. So if this is available, guys, you can go ahead and get it. I got it from that guy's list. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Disabilityinsurances.net. Now, this is a big area. Like leads and insurance are really big, right? So this is, I think, very high potential, even though it has sort of an S that doesn't belong at the end.
Yeah, they forced that on there. Yeah.
Right. So this was what was available. But what I would do in this case is I would check to see disabilityinsurance.net and make sure that's not a big brand, because if it was, you would get yourself in trouble. Okay. So
you might also pick up traffic from typos. I know that's a strategy, isn't it?
Correct.
I mean,
yeah, that is
it could be worth it for that.
But the .com would be the .com would be a lot better.
Of course, yeah.
Now, I love this one, imagesbuy.com. That is a big money maker. Yeah. People are always trying to buy like clip art and different things like that.
Yeah,
and
stock images.
Affiliate offers.
Shutterstock and everything. Yeah, guess images. Yeah.
Right. So usarmyrecruit.com, that would be kind of hard because those are always .gov websites. Doctors programs. Now, these caught my eye here. What do you think of these with regard to partial match? Plumbernearme.com and plumbersnearme.com.
I think nearme.com is good, but it's nearby me. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it looks. I mean, it looks like you're trying a bit too hard again. But I mean, it has a plumber at the front, which is nice, and people are probably going to look at that and see plumber near me anyway. They're probably not going to quite read the buy. So, well, could be okay. But
what about a Magic Page plugin site where you do / and then the location?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that make for the whole thing a very high relevant match?
Well, you're going to get it all in the URL and the slug, yeah.
Right.
I don't think people search for nearby me though. I mean, near me, but I guess Google might just ignore the buy and take it in as sort of exact match. Yeah.
Yeah. It just interests me to see some of these, but nearby me, that's an interesting
pet store
way
near me. That's one there, isn't it? Yeah.
Pet store near me. Yeah.
Pet stores near me. Yeah.
That could be something, but I don't know how you monetize that. That's the other thing is I always look at these things and say, how would I monetize it? Okay. And so these are ones that kind of came in through his list. Every day you get different ones that he sends in. So if you're at all interested, I'll go ahead and close that down here. I'll turn solo hide. Okay. And so basically, go.ht/domain list. I don't get any money from him or anything like that. It's just that I want to help the guy out because he's trying to develop his abilities and everything like that. And I figured, okay, try it and see what you can do.
Tara, what do you think about those kind of domains for flipping? If you did just take one, do a kind of template site, build it out a little bit, the pet store one, and trying to create something that was more. I mean, if those are available, you can buy them for what, $6-7 or whatever for a .com, and you can change it. Even if you got it, $200, $300, $400 for something through Flipper, is that viable for those kind of domains, or do you think there's just not going to be enough demand for it?
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to develop them. Flippa has an area that they have just for domains themselves, right? Just for selling the domains. And then you have all the different marketplaces and things. So if you want like the sort of a passive way to sell it, obviously you want to be on Afternic. That's the number one. That's the GoDaddy product. It's on, dozens and dozens. And if you do, I think it's the premium or something, you get on even more. Definitely.
I used Afternic recently, and I'm not a domain seller at all, but I did sell one a few weeks ago, and I put it into their escrow, and I'm still waiting for the funds to come. Really, I'm sure I can get it back if I want, but it feels like the buyer on their side's gone AWOL or whatever, so I need to chase that up. It wasn't a high value thing, but I did go through the process, and it's not completed, but maybe I just need to look into that. Do you think there's any risk on these kind of services? I mean, Afternic's pretty well known, well established. So I guess they are using escrow, and it should all be fine. But is there any caution for people on marketplaces or any guidance?
Not really. I mean, most of these will back up the sale up to a certain point, right?
Yeah.
So if the person flakes, sometimes you don't really get the money. But as far as if they've done the payment and then you exchange the domain, like they're basically saying, look, if they exchange the domain and then they do a chargeback on you, right?
Yeah, that's the risk, isn't it? A credit card, or a fraudulent credit card, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I don't know what happens at that point. I mean, that's why typically when somebody's trying to sell a domain, they're not going to go in and just say, oh, PayPal me the money and I'll send you the domain. There's no that escrow option to do it that way. So you want to make sure that you have I'll send people directly to a third party to buy a domain through me so that they feel comfortable with the third party. Even though you lose some commission, I do that a lot of times, unless I know the person. If I know the person, I'll just do the PayPal thing and just do it that way. So I just wanted to show that to you. We will be giving away a domain coming up in a little bit. Again, I want to show you the bulk leads. Promo code is MassPage. and let's see if it works for the one user account or the unlimited. So if you do the one user, it works out to $34.30, I think, if I did the math correctly.
What's the
And
time limit on that, Daryl? Is there a kind of a start and finish on that offer?
no, this is the thing. Now that I've talked to the company and got this approved, we're going to hold this 30% off that. So whoever got in before this, got changed, last week, that was their luck. You got lucky on that.
I bought it. I have to say, it did look like a fantastic deal. So yeah,
but this is still a really good deal considering how much data you can get and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it, just did some research on photographers, obviously a sector I work in, and there were thousands of UK photographers just listed on that database. So it was interesting, yeah. So yeah, worth a look.
Awesome. So that's what we have there on that. So if anybody has any questions, you can reach out to me at daryl.chat. That's DARYL.CHAT. And we'll be happy to help you out with that. Pardon me. And answer any questions you have. Even if you want to, ask me a couple of questions about domains or things like, anything about MassPage or any ideas that you have, come out and say hello. We'd be happy to talk to you on there. All right.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So
do you want to talk? You were going to talk about WordPress and WordPress as a service. Do you want to kind of cover that off, or do you want to go into other area?
So I think when I joined you on your talk the other day, you had a reveal on your new product, your new offering, that is basically a MassPage as a service kind of thing, right? And I was also looking at Brizy Cloud White Label, and they talk about on their website as a service, WAAS, right?
Yeah.
And I've always done like a website for someone and just handed it off to them, and they take over or they don't. They ask us to do updates, whatever. But the money's always been to me in the recurring stuff, like the recurring hosting, the maintenance, the updates, all of that kind of stuff. That's where things sort of snowball for your business and really grow, right? So, so I guess if you did just website as a service or WordPress as a service, or you did like the a cloud platform like Brizy Cloud as a service, I was wondering what your thoughts were with that, and maybe the idea of lead gen as a service. So, actually doing the lead gen structure and handing it over to the company to manage everything from there,
Yeah. I mean, I think businesses, small businesses, whatever size business, are always looking for solutions and ways to fix problems, and not everyone wants to get into SEO and website building. Not everyone wants the risk of it. Not everyone's got the time for it. And my insight in putting that together, the service I put together, was as a small business owner. Obviously, I speak to a lot of people about SEO, and some people are interested, and then you tell them more about it, and then they go, "Oh, that's awesome! I love SEO. I'm going to do a load." But most people say either I don't understand it, and I don't want to understand it, or I do understand it, but I haven't got time. I've got to prioritize on things, and then they really want a service. So they know they want the benefit of it. They want a nice website. They want an SEO. They want to rank whatever else, and they certainly want the leads. And obviously, the end of all the stuff that we do, that you and I talk about, and everything we try to do is leads, because that's the SEO and the website's just the means to an end. So I think that's where I've tried to come in at it, and that's what I guess that's what a service is. You don't want people to have to have an IT degree or start coding, and I think that's a sweet spot. And I think that's where the value is. And whilst there are benefits, and if you are designing a website, you might get an upfront payment. It's all in one go, and that's happy days. And you're not funding anything. There's no risk. Once it's done, you collect the money. That's job done. But you may not have that ongoing relationship. And if you provide the right kind of service, there's always an ongoing relationship there. There's a chance to upsell, sell more services, support them. There's obviously a downside as well. Is you have an overhead. You've got to look after those clients, and that's you're in it for the long term. So that's what I think about services. I think they're appealing to businesses because people just don't have the time or the inclination to learn it. And I think there's only a small percentage of people that either you hire somebody in house or you get an agency or something. But most small businesses, a lot of people that I would work with, photographers, whatever, they want you to sort of take it off their hands, really. So that was the kind of angle I took it at. So I think software as a service, website as a service is a winning formula for a lot of small businesses, or all businesses, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. Jorge brought up that if the business is business oriented and not a pain to work with, then he can kind of see it. But if they're difficult to sort of to sell the service and have them appreciate it, you might have more hassles on your hands, and then actual benefit.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think one of the hardest things to make work if you are like a web designer, a small freelance, whatever, is website hosting, because website hosting is very cheap typically. You're there competing, even if you front something up, they're competing against SiteGround or HostGator or any number of other people who have a big support network, and they can put something out for $5 a month, $6 a month, or whatever. And I think for you to try and make money out of that consistently is going to be very hard. So even if you have 100 clients at $5, it's $500 a month. But from 100 clients, you could be getting calls at all time of the day and night as a problem. So I think if you have a larger number of clients paying a small number of clients paying a higher fee, it's going to be easier for you to manage. And obviously what I've done is I'm controlling all of it. So the client doesn't come onto the website. It's completely black boxed from that point of view. So it's a different kind of setup. Obviously, if clients get into their own WordPress and they change something, delete something, clearly you can limit access, but you're into problems, and it's hard always to put your finger on where the problems come from, and is it something the client did or you did or some of the external factors. So I've gone down the road of just sort of black boxing it and saying it's effectively a lead generation service. It's a little bit like rank and rent, and that's obviously another kind of service, or leads as a service sort of model, which is you're just running a website for somebody else, and you send them the leads and you charge them for the leads. So different business models, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I always like the recurring revenue, but you're absolutely right. There's some complexity to it. There's definitely some nuance to getting the right fit for yourself, and yeah, you can't have it all, right?
You got to just scaling it, really. It seems like a good idea, but could you are you going to cope with 50, 100, 200, and how's it going to work? I mean, I like working with people, but I don't necessarily want to employ people. So it's a good kind of mix, really. But if you want to have an agency or a hosting company, you're going to have a team, a staff, and all the rest of it. So it's different approach, really.
Awesome. Well, folks, we really appreciate you guys spending some time here on the conversation today. Yeah, I think I'm going to ban a few people in the comments because I see what's happening today. So if you guys are aware of what's happening, you'll also know.
Definitely some funny comments going on tonight. So fair enough. But we're always happy to take questions from real profiles and real people asking, but I think there's some funny stuff going on. So yeah,
I think you guys all know what we're talking about. So anyway, all right, so we're going to go to the wheel of names. If you want to go ahead and put your name in the chat, again, if you're a real profile, we won't put your name up here if we know that you're a fake profile, because there's a few on here that we're very aware of that are fake profiles. And we'll go ahead and get you signed up for this. If you would be interested in winning the domain, we will go ahead. Oh, I lost you. I went right over your face.
That's all right. It's okay. Have you got the domains though? Have you shown those yet, or are you holding that back?
No.
People get to know.
How do I do that? Let me see. I know. How do I do this? I'm going to have to share that. Hold on.
You have to do some practice on this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and put your things in. I'll go ahead and get that list of domains. Hold on a second. Right. Do that in a second.
Got a few names coming in, but we'll read those out in a second.
Okay.
But I think it's only right you show us what the domains are.
Yes, indeed.
Don's looking for his 5th win, I think. Don's basically funding his entire business on the basis of domains that he's won through Sunday Live. So yeah.
Well, he's always the most engaged person on the network. So there we go. We got
awesome. Yeah.
.com. They're all .coms today. We did .nets last week. So easywebco.com, gotcalendars.com, and hireatechie.com. Okay, so those are the ones that we are going to give access to win. And
so I don't know. Can you see the names in the chat? Okay, do you want me to read them out, Daryl?
Yeah, I would need you to read them out. I'm going to go ahead and clear out everybody below Don because I know that Don is on there, and we can go ahead after. What do you have?
So we've got Matthew Reed.
Okay.
David
hold
Tulloch.
on, let's go slow. David Tulloch.
We've got Don. We've got Octavian, Octave Chalarou. We've got 3C Pod. We've got Jorge.
Hold on a second. Stephen 3C Pod, get in touch with me because I want to make sure you got that email. We're trying to get a domain over to him, and Google's giving us, or GoDaddy's giving us a hard time. Who's next?
You've got Jorge Mazzona, who won last week. We've got Erdal Bayram.
Okay.
We've got another Facebook name that says "Learning in real time is fun times." I don't think that's a user. I think that's just a comment. Somebody says they've only won 3 times. Another person saying, "Come on, hire a techie," but no name. There's Walter McRae. Put Walter in. We've got 3C Pod. I'm just trying to think if there's anybody else that said hello earlier on that we would put in here. No, anybody else that we've not put in that is on a genuine profile, that would be great. Just call it out. If you're we might not be able to see you as your Facebook user, so 3C Pods put in his name there in the comments. So just to make sure that you're definitely there. Do you want to just read out who's on so far, Daryl, just so we know where we are?
Sure. Let me solo that. So we have Don, Matthew Reed, David Tulloch, Orkawan, 3C
Octavian,
Pod, Octavian, yeah. Mazzona, which I'm a little dubious about that one, Erdal, and Walter. So
Colin K. Yeah, Colin Kinsella.
Colin K is real.
Colin's real. Yeah.
That's a shame. It really is. All right.
I think that's the list. Not seeing any.
Okay.
Nobody else. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. So let me just go ahead and flash back on the domains. Clipsa.com, easywebco.com, gotcalendars.com, and hireatechie.com.
Have you looked at the values of this, Daryl, or are you going to sort of keep that back again? I know you normally look at name worth to tease people, but is that maybe tell them afterwards?
Yeah, we could do that afterwards. Yeah.
Look at what you could have won. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we got it. I will go ahead and spin the wheel. See who gets this. Mazzona,
second time in a row.
Yep. All right. Congratulations. Contact me at daryl.chat. We'll go ahead and bring up the listings of domains. And let's see here. So we got, let's see here.
You can see the. I'm trying to think which one would be the most valuable. I don't know. I think Clipsa's quite brandable, but there's probably a Clipsa with one A, not two. So you might not be able to do so much with it. Hireatechie kind of does what it says on the tin, so that's kind of nice. Easy Webco is very brandable, but there probably is an EASY, as in the airline. So yeah. A few different.
The new year's starting. Got calendars. Maybe you could do something with that.
True. Yeah.
So,
cool.
All right, Mazzona, which one do you want to go with on your second week here? And go to daryl.chat. We'll get you all hooked up.
There you go.
Clipsa. Okay, he's going with A. All right, very good. Close but no cigar. I'm so sorry.
Well,
right,
be in it to win it next week then. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and hide those out. But yeah, thank you guys for bearing with us today. we are doing the best we can with this new platform,
New
because I just
system,
wanted to
yeah.
try it
I'm hoping
out.
to get my
I wanted to
background
try it
sorted
out.
out for next week, but yeah.
Yeah. So awesome, guys. We really do appreciate you being here. And if you have any ideas for topics to cover with regard to mass page SEO, all of those kinds of things, I think we'll go ahead and we'll do that. So I don't think I'm going to do the guest line today. I'm not in the mood for it right now after some of these comments on here, to
Fair
be
enough.
honest. So let's hold it where it is.
It's fair to
And
say we're always happy to people to reach out to us individually. So I'm at simons.chat, you're at daryl.chat. So if people want to have a get in touch with us after the show, we haven't picked up anything you want to cover, we're happy to chat one-to-one. And we can pick up with things next week when I'll have a background, and we'll have mastered Be Live as an alternative platform.
Well, it might be another
Could be,
tool.
it could be,
I
yeah.
just wanted to try this one out because it said how great their video quality was, and I was like, oh, let's give this a try. I wanted to try it out, something different to mess around with, and yeah, so definitely cool. All right, cool. So thank you guys so much. And Jorge says, ban those jokers, period. Yeah. No, it's, there's constructive ways to do things, and there's destructive ways to do things. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and let other people know if they're interested in learning more. To reach out to us. Also, we can set up some content and information to help you out along your journey with all of this stuff. So hope you guys have a great night. And anything you want to add, Simon?
No, that's so good. Good to see everyone, and see you same time next week. So thanks everyone. Take care.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Bye, guys.